I lost my passport 2 days before our $14,000 family vacation. Mom just texted, honestly, we don't care. This trip will actually be better without you. Then my sister sent a photo. Oops, I hid it. My bad. I replied, good. Then I secured the house before they got back, and when they returned, my name's Jack. I'm 32, a head chef at a small bistro that smells like garlic and burnt sugar most nights. I'm the oldest kid, the one who books tables, fixes ovens, and sends calendar invites. Because nobody else will. I don't drink much. I live above the restaurant in a narrow apartment with a crooked window and a plant I keep forgetting to water. I save receipts in a shoebox. I label spices. People call me steady, reliable, boring if you ask my sister Liv. 2 days before the family vacation I planned for a year, I walked into my mom's kitchen and found suitcases open on the floor. Sunscreen, sandals, brand new hats with a resort logo. The kettle was screaming. Mom was laughing at something on Liv's phone. I set a carton of eggs on the counter and said, I'm doing breakfast. Burritos for the road. Anyone want mild or spicy? Liv didn't look up. Why are you here? Because we leave in 48 hours, I said, and because the fridge is empty. Mom finally glanced over. Her smile faded into that thin line she saves for me. Jack, we talked about this. Don't make a scene. A scene? I opened a drawer for foil, and it was full of sunglasses, tags still attached. I booked everything and used new site, loud and theatrical. You booked it with our money too, remember? Group effort. I stared at her. I covered the villa, deposit, the flights, and the rental van. You sent me $20 for vibes. She rolled her eyes and slid her phone across the counter like she was dealing a card. The group chat glowed. My name was highlighted. Old messages, new ones. I caught a glimpse of my own text from the night before. Flight confirmations. Packing list, airport time. Mom's voice. Cut through. Honestly, we don't care. This trip will actually be better without you. The kettle clicked off. Time stretched. I wasn't sure I'd heard her right. Liv smirked. She means the attitude. You're exhausting, Jack. I looked at the burrito pan. Oil shimmered. My hands knew what to do. Whisk, pour, fold while my chest went hollow. I swallowed. Okay, the word tasted like steel. I turned off the flame, slid the pan to the cool burner, and nodded once. No yelling, no lecture, just the quiet kind of hurt that lands and sits there. Mom reached for a beach tote. Good. Don't make this about you. I wiped my hands on a dish towel. I stepped back from the counter and into the doorway. The kitchen hummed. The fridge, the kettle, the tiny rattle of spoons. Somewhere outside, a car alarm chirped and stopped. I said, calm, we'll see. Lev's eyebrows lifted. We'll see. What? I didn't answer. I left the eggs on the counter, walked out to the porch, and let the screen door close behind me. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I didn't look. I stood there listening to my own breathing, to the soft tick of heat on metal, to the shape of what I already knew was coming. I grew up in kitchens, church basements, school cafeterias, uncle's backyard grills. Food was the way we apologized and the way we pretended nothing was wrong. Dad left when I was 14. After that, I learned to turn groceries into rent, tips into textbooks, time into more time, lying. Cook at 16, Sue at 24, head chef at 30. I like the rhythm. Prep list, fire. Bored, last table out, mop, silence. Family stuff never had rhythm. It was always improvisation and guilt. Mom's favorite line, we're family. You owe us. Liv is 27, professional almost. Something. Influencer 1 month, dog. A sitter the next, wellness coach when she remembers her password. She burns through phones and promises. She has a talent for showing up exactly when the Bill is due, smiling and calling it teamwork. Money bled out of me in a 100 small cuts. The temporary phone line I added for Liv that became permanent groceries for mom until the disability check hits, even though it never came. Uber rides after midnight. Because Liv couldn't walk in those. Heels, ticket fees, emergency dental. One catastrophic vet bill for a dog Liv. Fostered for 3 days. Every time I tried to set a boundary, mom sharpened her voice. Jack, don't be dramatic. Or the classic, if your father were here. She'd let that hang like his absence was somehow my fault too. So when I found a villa discount last winter and started planning a trip, 7 days, beach, big kitchen, market within walking distance, I let myself believe it could be good, a reset. I put my tips in an envelope. I split double shifts. I built a spreadsheet with tabs, flights, villa, food, van activities. I sent the link to our family chat with a simple, we do this together. Liv replied with a string of palm tree emojis and yes, chef. Mom said, we'll see if we can swing it. I covered the deposit to lock the rate. Then I covered the airline sale because we'll pay you back. Friday turned into next Friday, turned into silence. By spring, the spreadsheet showed the truth. I had paid 80%. Mom had sent $300 total, 2 months late. Liv had sent $20 labeled vibes, another $15 labeled manifest. When I pressed, the chat filled with noise. Mom, you make more than we do. Liv, exposure accounts. I'm going to tag the villa. You'll get followers. Me, the villa doesn't take followers. Then came the passports. I reminded everyone to pull them out 2 weeks before departure. Mom said hers was somewhere safe. Liv sent a boomerang of her throwing bikinis into a suitcase. I checked my drawer, like I always do, the one with folded leases, spare keys, and my passport. The envelope was there. I didn't open it. I just tapped it and went back to service. 2 days before we left, I stopped by Mom's to drop off travel size sunscreen and granola bars. The suitcases were open. The kettle screamed. You know the rest. After I left the kitchen, I sat in my car with the door open and the heat slapping my face. My phone buzzed again. Group chat. Mom, don't sulk. Your attitude ruins everything. Liv, OMG. Stop being weird. Just bring snacks and don't talk about budgets on vacation. I typed, deleted, typed again. I settled on, where's my passport? 3 dots. Appeared, disappeared, came back. Liv. What? Me. Because we fly in 2 days. 20 seconds. Then a photo popped up. My passport, blue cover, half tucked under. A stack of resort hats on Mom's counter. Liv had drawn a little heart on the image and added the caption. Oops. I hit it. My bad. My fingertips went cold. Where is it, Liv? Liv, chill. I didn't want you nagging everyone about boarding times. You can get it when we head to the airport. Keeps the vibes clean. Mom sent a thumbs up. I stared at the photo until the screen dimmed. I turned the brightness back up and stared some more. I took another breath. I called. Liv didn't answer. Mom did. She didn't say hello. If you start drama about a booklet, we're leaving without you. It's not a booklet, I said. It's my passport. Same difference. She said, stop controlling everything. I thought about the spreadsheet, about the deposit, about every time I'd paid, and called it love. Give it back. I said, calm. Honestly, Mom said, voice bright like she was choosing wallpaper. We don't care. This trip will actually be better without you. The call clicked off. I didn't move. A minute, 5. Somewhere a delivery truck beeped as it backed up. I watched a cloud slide behind the power lines and felt something inside me click into place. Not rage, not even grief, just a switch. At the restaurant that night, I burned 2 steaks. My Sue took over the pass and made me sip water like I was the one in danger of overcooking. After service, I pulled my shoebox of receipts and did the math. Villa, paid by me. Flights, mine plus 3 one-ways for them. Because we'll reimburse. Van, mine. Activities, mine. Groceries fund, mine. The total looked like a slap. 14,000, my. Handwriting underlined it twice all on. Its own. I took photos of everything. I saved PDFs. I put copies in a folder called Truth. Then I went home, opened my drawer, and this time I opened the passport envelope. Empty. Just the faint rectangle where a booklet used to be. I sat on the edge of the bed and laughed. Once a small dry sound. Then I stopped laughing and started making a list. The next morning, first thing I texted the group chat. Good. Leave it plead. Instantly. Good what? Me. Good that. The trip will be better without me. Mom. Finally, you're being reasonable. Me. One more thing. Return my passport. Today. Liv sent a selfie with sunglasses on, tongue out. Come and get it. So I did, but not for the reason they thought. I drove to Mom's with a locksmith I know from the bar next door. He's a regular, eats fries with mayo. Pays cash. We stood on the porch while I explained quietly that I own the house. Title and taxes in my name since I refinanced it 2 years ago to keep Mom from losing it. They've lived there rent-free because I couldn't stand the idea of my childhood kitchen being empty. I had the deed in a manila folder. If anyone wanted to see, the locksmith whistled. Rough, he said. Then he rekeyed the front and the side door. I left keys with Aunt May across the street, the only person who ever brings a casserole when things explode, and with the property manager I hired that afternoon I gave Mom and Liv new tenancy agreements. Simple, clear, due dates, boundaries. If they wanted to keep living there after they got home, they'd sign like adults. No more vibes. I boxed the valuables I'd bought, the TV, the espresso machine, my stand mixer. That somehow migrated downstairs last year. I labeled each box and stacked them in my truck. I left their things untouched. I took photos of everything I moved and emailed them to myself. Then I put a small safe on the top shelf of the hall closet and locked my important documents inside. Birth certificate, chef's license, extra cash. I left a note on the closet door. Mail is being held at the post office. Pick up with ID. On my way out, I checked the junk drawer for spare keys for copies. I pocketed them. I left a polite printed notice on the fridge. New keys with Aunt May. See tenancy agreements. Jack. Before I started the car, I opened the group chat and dropped screenshots. Every receipt, every ticket, every payment confirmation with my name in bold. I added a simple message. Trip. Cost $14,062. Current balance owed to me $11,784. I'm not asking for it back. I'm telling you the truth. Liv, you're unhinged. Mom, you can't change the locks. This is my house. Me, it's my house. Title attached. Mails on hold. Keys with Aunt May. Silence for a beat. Then Liv again. Where's my suitcase? We leave tonight. Me, in your room. Nothing of yours has moved. Mom called. I let it ring out. She called again from Liv's phone. I let that ring, too. Then I typed one last thing. I'll be at work. If you want to talk, use words that aren't insults. I went back to the restaurant and did my job. I reduced a pan sauce until it shined. I salted at the lip of the flame, so the crystals cracked in the heat. I moved. I breathed. My hand stopped shaking. At closing, I checked my phone. 53 messages I didn't open. One photo I did. Live at the airport, eyes red, holding a copy of a lost passport form with a caption, "Look what you made me do." In the background, Mom was speaking to a gate agent like the agent owed her money. I typed, "Good luck," and put the phone face down. They went without me. They pieced together a plan. Temporary passport, rerouted flight, fewer days at the villa. The chat went quieter, but not silent. Every few hours, a new complaint would land in my notifications. Like a fork dropped on tile. Mom, the van place won't release keys to me because the reservation is in your name. Fix it. Live. The villa says primary. Guest must be present. Fix it. Me. No. Mom, you're being cruel. Me. I'm being finished. At work, I said. The words out loud wants to hear how they sounded. I'm finished. My Sue smiled. Like I'd finally taken a breath after years of holding it. I did the unromantic things. I froze the shared credit card I'd opened to build Mom's credit and paid it off myself so it wouldn't hang over me. I closed the phone line Liv never paid for. I took my name off the utility accounts I'd set up. Temporarily, I changed the Wi-Fi password at the house and left a new one taped to the router for when they sign the agreements. I put rent at half the market rate. Fair, kind, even adult. Amy called. Proud of you, she said. They'll scream. Let them. They're on vacation, I said. Then. They can scream at the sea, she said. And cackled like the kettle. Day 3. The food rep dropped off an extra case of tomatoes that were too soft for service, but perfect for sauce. I simmered them with basil and garlic until the room smelled like August. I jarred 6 quarts and wrote for Mayon. 2 lids. I carried them across the street after closing. She opened the door before I knocked. You look lighter, she said, ushering me in. I changed locks, I said. About time. She poured tea. Your mother's been telling everyone you trapped them. I left keys with you, I said. She grinned. Oh, I know. I've enjoyed holding them. The villa manager emailed me a polite, we cannot check in any guest without the primary guest present. I replied with an equally polite, understood. Please release the remaining nights as per policy. She did the refund, small, partial, hit my card. I put it straight toward the house. Insurance I'd let slip while funding the dream. On the 4th day, photos hit the chat. Liv posed by a pool with a caption about toxic siblings and protecting your peace. Mom posted a sunset with a Bible verse about forgiveness underlined like it was aimed at me. I didn't reply. I made staff meal, fried rice with scraps of roast chicken and taught the new dishwasher how to set up a station. He reminded me of myself at 19, hungry, careful, tired. I sent him home with leftovers and a pear cake that broke in the middle when I turned it out. That night, a different kind of message came in. Cousin Theo, we hadn't spoken in a year. Hey man, saw the Villa Saga. For what it's worth, I remember you paying for my suit for prom because Mom couldn't. You didn't make a speech about it. You just paid. You're not the villain. I sat with that for a long minute. Then I put my phone down and slept through the night for the first time in weeks. When the week was up, I mopped my apartment, opened windows, and let air move through. I baked a pan of lasagna for myself because feeding everyone else all the time had made me forget I like feeding me too. I stacked the tenancy agreements on the counter. With the pen, I set the extra keys beside them. I left the front light on. For their return, they pulled into the driveway at 2:17 a.m. I know because Aunt May texted me. They're here. I'm in my robe watching like a hawk. At 2:19 a.m., my phone rang. I let it go. At 2:22, it rang again. Then came the banging on my apartment door downstairs. Like I owed the building rent. I went down in bare feet, unlocked the deadbolt, and opened the door. Mom stood there with her suitcase. Liv stood behind her holding a tote bag with a flamingo on it and wearing the sunglasses from the drawer. Both looked sunburned and furious. Mom's opening line wasn't hello. It was open the house. It is open, I said, for people with keys. Aunt May has them. Leave Hoved. Forward. You're sick. You stranded your own family. You took my passport, I said. Evenly. I was safeguarding the vibes. She said, not even flinching. I stepped aside and pointed to the counter where the pen and agreements waited under the light. Keys after you sign. 2 copies. Read before signing. Mom snatched a paper, scanned the first line, and scoffed. Rent? You expect us to pay rent. For my own house? It's my house, I said, and slid the deed across the counter. It has been for 2 years. Her mouth opened, then closed. She looked at the paper like it was a trick. Liv tapped the page with a nail. Late fees? Are you serious? I'm serious about dates, I said, and about boundaries. Mom dropped the agreement back on the counter as if it burned. We're not signing anything tonight. Then you can stay at a hotel. Tonight, I said. Aunt May can call you. In the morning, Liv laughed without humor. You think you're a landlord now. I think I'm done being a wallet, I said. They left in a flurry of words I won't type. The door shook. Their car reversed. Too fast, braked, surged forward. Stopped. Headlights swept the walls. I locked the door and stood in the quiet. While my pulse slowed, upstairs I plated a square of lasagna and ate it. Cold with a fork. It tasted like salt. And tomatoes and relief. The next afternoon, Aunt May texted a photo of 2 signatures on 2 lines. Beneath them, received 2 keys. Her caption, adulting achieved. The following week, I raised my line cook's pay by $1. Using the money, I wasn't bleeding. I fixed the oven gasket that whistling. Since spring, I called my bank and set up an automatic transfer to a savings account with a name that made me snort. When the rep asked for it, I said, call it beach, but real. People noticed the change in me. The regular at table 6 said, you look taller. The produce guy said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. The dishwasher asked if we could play music during prep. I said yes. And for an hour, every day the bistro sounded like a summer in a city I've never visited. Mom paid rent the first month late. The second month on time. Leave. Started bringing home actual pay stubs from a real job at a pet store. She dropped a Starbucks drink on the porch, once with a sticky note that said, for the landlord. I left it there until the ice melted and then poured it on the basil plants out back just to see if coffee makes basil meaner. It does. I didn't block their numbers. I didn't unfriend anyone. I just stopped answering messages that weren't questions and stopped showing up to fix things I didn't break. One night near closing, Liv came into the bistro alone. No sunglasses. She sat at the counter and ordered the cheapest pasta on the menu and water. I cooked it myself even, though the line could have handled it. When I set the plate down, she said, soft, you really weren't coming to the airport, were you? No, I said. She looked at the steam and said, I thought you'd cave. I know, I said. She nodded. I'm still mad. I know, I said again. She forked a bite and chewed, and then said, almost like a joke, that wasn't a joke. Do you hire dishwashers? I pointed at the sign I'd taped to the host stand that morning. We do. She didn't apply, but the next week she sent me a photo of her first paycheck from the pet store and a text that read, it's not much. It's mine. I typed good and hit send. Some endings don't feel like fireworks. They feel like a pan cooling on a stove. Quiet. Final. Useful again. I didn't get a beach this year. No easy mornings or lazy afternoons. No photos of my feet in the sand with a caption about gratitude. I got something else. I got my life back. It shows up in small ways. In the silence of my phone at 2 a.m. In the way my shoulders don't live up by my ears anymore. In the way I taste food. Again, actually taste it, not just check for seasoning. In the plan on my windowsill that finally perked up. Because I remembered to water it 3 times in a row. Mom still thinks boundaries are a disrespect. She says it with the same tone she used to say, eat your green beans. but she signs the agreements. She writes rent in the memo. Line. She knocks before she comes. Upstairs. Sometimes she stands on the porch with a bag of oranges and looks like she's going to apologize. She hasn't yet. I don't need her to. Liv is. Still Liv. Loud, slippery, allergic to calendars. But she doesn't have the house key that opens everything anymore. She texts me dog photos with captions that sound like full sentences. She pays her share of the Wi-Fi from an account with her name on it. She told me once, "You're different now." I said, "No, I'm the same." You're seeing the part that says no. Aunt May brings me gossip like it's a bouquet. She also brings back my Tupperware, which is love in a language I understand. Sometimes I think about the photo, my passport under the hats, that heart drawn on it. I used to see proof of malice. Now I see a diagram. That heart covered my life. It was cute. It was theft. It was both at once. But it taught me the lesson everyone keeps. Writing on mugs and magnets that never landed for me until now. You can care and still close a door. The moral is not complicated and it isn't poetic. It's a kitchen rule. Hot pans look like cold pans. Handle everything carefully. If you get burned, you run it underwater. You learn you don't put your hand back on the same metal. I won't be used. I don't fund disrespect. I don't beg to be included in rooms where people celebrate. Excluding me. I don't explain receipts to adults who like to call money vibes. I cook. I pay my bills. I answer calls that are questions and hang up on insults. I keep spare keys with the person who has earned them. I'll take a beach one day on my own dime with people who say please and thank you and mean it. Maybe I'll even bring Mom and Liv if the invites come with signed agreements and their passports in their own hands. This time when the trip gets booked, my name will only be on what I'm willing to carry. The list will be shorter, the suitcase lighter, the food better, and when the plane lifts, I'll look out the window, not for permission or for a text to land, but because the sky is there and I paid for my own seat.